YouTube replay. Good evening, how are you? Oh, I just got my bedtime reminder. I'm not on this late usually. But I had this necklace on and I was like, I'm going live. Hi everyone, we're gonna get started soon. We're gonna read some cards. If you are a prayer, which means you are subscribed to my channel, you can ask a question and I'll pull 2 cards for you. But I will be doing collective reading. And if you want a deeper reading, let me know. I charge $33. But we're going to do some collective reading. I don't know if you saw the Divine Masculine channeled love letter today. It was very beautiful. And I don't know about you, but I wish my person would say those things to me that come out in the letter. But alas, he says nothing. Says nothing, does nothing. All right, we're gonna look at, I have my Lenormand deck with me, which a friend was like, have you read Lenormand in a while? And I was like, no, I haven't. So we're gonna do a couple of 3-card, 5-card Lenormand spreads and just take a look at what is going on right now for you in the connection that you are interested in, if there is one you're interested in. And nothing's jumping out yet, so giving the cards some time to warm up. Okay. I like how the music just changed abruptly. So the first card, hi there, how are you doing? The first card that came out is the Bouquet. It also has the Queen of Spades or the Queen of Swords if you're reading the suit, if you're equating the suit to the swords. In Lenormand, the Bouquet it's about an offer. It's definitely about spring and things blossoming. It's number 9. The book says that these lovely flowers have been carefully selected, arranged, tied with a bow, and are ready to be offered as a gift to someone special. So there's the offer part. Giving a bouquet as a gift is a gesture of deep affection for a beloved friend, lover, or family member. This is a happy card signifying intimacy, sincerity, harmony, and contentment in a relationship. The sweet bouquet reflects your own feelings of gratitude, confidence, and clarity. If the bouquet card follows a threatening card, such as the coffin or the clouds, it probably means that after some difficulties understanding the situation, you will soon find clarity or reach an accord. The key words are affection, contentment, sincerity, intimacy, gift, understanding, and clarity. Okay. So that's the first card in the spread. The second card in Lenormand, where the cards are in the spread, is very significant. The second card is the Mountain or the Obstacle. And the third card is the Snake. So the Mountain also has the 8 of Wands on it. And the Snake has the Queen of Wands on it. So there is an offer. It's been carefully selected. It's an offer of intimacy. It's something that someone has been working on, arranging, creating. And then there is this obstacle, the mountain. Let's look at the mountain also. I'm just sharing these meanings with you because a lot of people know tarot, but they don't know Lenormand. So the greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. The mountain card represents the obstacles that may be standing in the way of your goals and objectives. There may be formidable challenges you need to face or problems you must solve before progress can be made. Unavoidable delays will have to be dealt with. The mountain may represent physical obstacles or mental ones. You may face resistance from others or from within yourself. Paralyzing fear or lack of confidence may be holding you back. Yet sheer will is not the way past the mountain. Once you accept that you've hit a wall, you can begin to formulate new approaches and creative solutions to resolve the situation. There is a way forward, but it may entail stepping back and starting over. Keywords are obstacles, challenges, delays, resistance, limitations. So we have an offer delayed. This is how you read Lenormand. You assign words to the cards to create these phrases that help you read. So it could be, there's an offer of intimacy that has been delayed. And we could be seeing what the delay is, which is the snake card. And I will share this one with you too. This is the 7th card. This snake card shows a beastly serpent coiling itself around a sweet young lady. It appears that the snake is a threat to the charming lady, but is she really sweet and innocent? Perhaps she is the threat. This snake card is warning you that appearances might be deceiving. The people who seem to be your friends and allies could be deviously undermining you because of jealousy, resentment, or sheer ambition. Pay close attention to the card that immediately follows the snake. This situation may be rife with treachery. This card may also warn you not to be dazzled and taken in by someone who seems charming but probably has his own agenda. When the snake card appears, make sure you keep your eyes open and see the situation for what it really is. The keywords are treachery, deception, charm, threat, blindsided, envy, intrusion, and ambition. Okay, so the main issue is the obstacle. The obstacle is preventing this gift or this offer, and the obstacle that we're looking at is this snake card, which can either be someone that is jealous or envious, or it can also be the person who is making the offer is actually deceitful or has an agenda, or is dangling something, not really intending to give anything. So let's pull some tarot about each of these cards and get a little bit more insight from the tarot. And I'm going to use my Modern Love Tarot. Hi Monica, thanks for joining. Hi Aubrey, I just saw your message. This is a collective reading, and it was just sort of looking into the connection. So I'm gathering that right now there is an obstacle of your mindset, probably. This doesn't, for me, I don't think there is actually a physical obstacle. I do not think that there is a third-party person. I'm not a reader like that. I don't usually read like that, so I'm not pulling that through. But you could think there is a third party, or you could perceive a third party, or you could feel jealous of somebody, and that could be your obstacle. It could also be that you think your person has an agenda, but again, it's a mindset. I don't feel that it's really something in the physical. So let's take a look at the offer first. So this is the offer of intimacy. It's carefully arranged and planned. It's not the first bouquet I've seen today, actually, interestingly, for my own personal. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands here, and then we have the Three of Cups, which I have to cover up this beautiful lady here because she's a little too risque for TikTok, I think. But so the Queen of Wands and the Three of Cups, for me, this is an offer of union to the divine feminine, because the Queen of Wands is a divine feminine energy for me. She's attractive and magnetic. Somebody wants to celebrate. Somebody wants to like make this offer to her. So definitely it is an offer, an emotional offer, and something that is supposed to be positive and celebratory, definitely. Hi, I'm not doing any free readings tonight, but if you would like me to pull 2 cards for you, you can subscribe to my channel and I will read for you tonight. And if I see you again live, which I read 6 days a week, I will always pull cards for you if you are a subscriber to my channel. Hi, Batman Forever, good to see you. I'm not on usually this late, so I'm seeing some people that I don't like, my West Coast people. All right, let's check the Mountain card. So we're going to look a little deeper into this obstacle. This is what I think is a mindset, not actually a physical obstacle, but a mindset is what I think. Yep. Okay. 6 of Wands. So you're overcoming this obstacle. You're definitely overcoming the obstacle of either feeling third-party interference, thinking there's third-party interference, thinking there's something keeping you from achieving what you desire, from achieving success, or thinking that your person has an agenda, doesn't want to have success with you. You're definitely overcoming it, but it is a mindset, because you are not limited by any aspect of self. Like, you can overcome pretty much anything that has been put before you. So now let's take a look at the snake. Let's take a look at the snake. For those of you that don't know Lenormand, which is this deck that I'm reading here, it is scary accurate. Sometimes creeps me out. I don't read from it all the time. It's Lenormand, not me. I don't know what it is about my Lenormand decks, but they kind of freak me out. Damn, look at that. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. Oops, I'm gonna keep pulling that. Okay. So what clarifies the snake energy? The actual offer itself, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Lovers, and the Four of Pentacles, and the Tower. So it's really difficult for you to shift your mindset into one of abundance and prosperity, which you must have in order to receive this offer of love. And in order to do that, you have to let go of your fears of the shift, the shift itself, and to change your mind. You know, when you want to do something, but you know how much work it's going to take, and you know how cool it could be, but you know how much of a challenge it's going to be, how much building you're going to have to do. And so rather than do it, you just kind of stay in this dreamy energy with it. It just stays a fantasy. It seems like the obstacles are too much for you to overcome. So it's just something that you dream about, but it's not something that you really do. You have to, this is releasing, letting go of this fear that you can't be or do or have the thing that you desire. There is also potentially someone that you perceive that needs to be released. Now, this can be a person that you need to release, a tangential person that someone else needs to release, or your belief that that person is in the way. You have to release that. You can also look at the snake as self-deception. So kind of not believing in your own abundance or prosperity, not believing that the thing that you love to do most in the world is going to help you grow and achieve your dreams, and really having to release that fear. I see somebody like looking at this person. She's very happy. She's on her phone, and there's this judgy energy here. And this is because the Four of Pentacles is also concerned with outside opinions. Thank you so much for saying I look beautiful. Also, I'm seeing that you're a member. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll be sure to read cards for you tonight when we get to that part of the reading. I went out to a Christmas concert, so I had this BCBG necklace hanging around, and I never get to wear it. And then I had this green dress, and I was like, it's perfect. And my mom got me these bumblebee earrings. They're so cute. I don't know if you can actually see the bumblebees. There you go. They're so cute. So there's a lot actually embedded in this reading that can fit for a relationship. And I did ask about the connection initially, but I don't think we're limited here to just a connection. I think that part of you being able to move into that connection is believing that you can do the things that you love. And I got distracted for a minute. So the judgy energy, because the Four of Pentacles can be about caring a lot about what other people think. And that can also be an obstacle. Like maybe you have a mindset that your person will fear that your relationship, which was hidden in some way, like he's concerned about what other people think, or she, doesn't matter what their gender is, but the masculine energy is concerned, and you're afraid that he's not going to release those concerns about what other people think, and that's your obstacle. But I'm also seeing here, for those of you pursuing your passions, my job is to basically just check comments on my phone, post things, like do live feeds, take videos of myself. I guess influencer, but that's not really, I don't consider myself an influencer because I'm reading cards. I feel like I'm more of an entertainer or performer, but I'm lumped in the influencer category because I use social media to promote my business. And there's a judgy attitude. Like I'm just sitting on my phone, like that's my job. I know my mother can't comprehend it. She doesn't understand. And if I have financial struggles, like I have been recently, it's the first thing that gets blamed. It's like, oh, you should get a regular job. Even though when I'm getting consistent readings booked, this is actually the most lucrative job that I've ever had. And I've built this over 3 years. And so I have to release caring about other people's opinions about how I do the work I do. It's something I love to do. I believe it's going to bring me prosperity, but it doesn't sometimes, because I'm holding on to this, what if it doesn't? What if I look stupid? What if I don't make enough? What if people don't book any readings? What if, right? So not just for the connection, but also for whatever passions you're pursuing, there might be this obstacle in your mindset. Okay, so now let's look at how we can clear this obstacle. What do we need to do to clear it? I'm going to get another deck. Actually, you know what? Let's do Lenormand and then clarify the Lenormand. So I'm going to get 3 more Lenormand cards. If you don't know the history of the Lenormand deck, it's kind of interesting. So the creator of the deck is not Madame Lenormand. Sometimes people think that it's her. She did not create it. I think it was a Dutch man, like a Netherlandish man, or a German man, some Germanic dude. But anyway, he met Madame Lenormand and learned from her how she told fortunes in Napoleon and Josephine's court, because she used to sit and read cards in court, and she was like a renowned fortune teller, but she never told anybody her secret until this one time she had this conversation with this man. So what she told this man is that she would assign words, adjectives, nouns to certain cards in a deck of playing cards. And when people pulled them, she would read the cards. So when you look at a Lenormand card, you're going to see, first of all, a number on the card. Then you're going to see a word, coffin, or death, or it depends. Sometimes there's different versions of the Lenormand. And then you're going to see a little, like this has the 9 of diamonds, like you would see in a deck of playing cards. You can also read this as the 9 of pentacles if you want to, if you're familiar with tarot. So then what she would do is she would assign certain words or phrases to coffin. Like obviously this is death, rebirth, something being buried. Then she would look at the card next to it, which we got stars. And she would then put the phrases together to create like basically sentences that would help her to understand what was going on with the person who was playing cards with her. Incredibly effective, and weirdly sometimes way more accurate than tarot, because tarot is about spiritual messages, which are they're meant to be applicable to a lot of different situations, scenarios, themes. They're more of like an ink blot test, whereas the Lenormand, you can't argue with it. It's like, this is what it means. There's not a whole bunch of interpretation that you can have in Lenormand, and it's creepy accurate. All right, so let's look at the coffin card. And since most people aren't familiar with Lenormand, I'm reading from the little booklet I have. This deck is the Dreaming Way Lenormand, which is a gift that I received. I also got the Dreaming Way Tarot with it. Same artist. Number 8, Coffin. The Coffin card is referred to as the Death card, but it does not always mean a literal death. While it can relate to serious illness and end-of-life issues, more often it refers to endings and losses that may be personal or possibly financial. The Coffin card shows someone lying in a sardine can, but we don't know if the can is being opened or closed. The person may have chosen to retreat into a dark place, away from people and problems, sometimes before moving on from a difficult or painful situation. It's necessary to grieve or process the change. This card may indicate the need to withdraw and isolate, at least temporarily. The coffin may signify an estrangement, which may even occur because of your choice. On the other hand, this card may be pointing out something that is frightening you or causing anxiety. On the positive side, the coffin card may indicate the end of difficult circumstances. Endings, retreat, illness, anxiety, fear, losses, and estrangement. Okay, but remember, Lenormand cards are really matters what's happening all around them. So what I wanted was some advice for how to break through the obstacle. The coffin card is right below this bouquet. And we know that this is about an offer of intimacy. It's about things being carefully arranged. And we saw that this could be the end of certain circumstances that are causing the obstacle that we're seeing. So we're looking at an end to this inability to give some kind of an offer. But it's not going to come without a sacrifice. And that's the thing about the Death card. In order for something new to be reborn, something old really must die. So let's get a little bit more information. The next card that's next to the coffin card is the Stars card. This is number 16 in the Lenormand, and it has the 6 of Cups on it, which is making me, or 6 of Hearts, which makes me think of the 6 of Cups, which is about past relationship, etc. It is directly below the mountain. So there is perhaps a past relationship that needs to end in order for something new to be reborn, in order to actually experience the offer of intimacy that is here. So this card says, the Stars card shows a luminous display of stars scattered across the indigo heavens. Just as the constellations provide confidence and guidance to ancient navigators at sea, the Stars card offer clarity and inspiration. If success has seemed beyond reach, the appearance of the Stars card assures you that your highest aspirations are attainable. The stars provide the light at the end of the tunnel to guide you toward your visions. If you have not even dared to believe in happy endings, this card encourages you to explore new paths, trusting that fate has amazing things in store for you. There is abundance beyond your wildest dreams out there. Reach for the stars. Inspiration, guidance, illumination, optimism, and abundance. So what I'm seeing is this need to believe that you can overcome this obstacle. It should be clarity and inspiration. So the advice for how do I overcome this obstacle? Believe that you can. Believe that this time where you're not receiving any offers, that time is ending. And as you let go of that past that you're holding on to with the 4 of Pentacles we saw, you're going to see this this future that you've been longing for, that you've been wishing for, that you've been dreaming of. Clarifying the Snake card. So, well, it's different than clarifying. Below the Snake card and next to the Stars card, we see a house. And The house is number 4. This is definitely a stable energy. It has the King of Hearts on it, or the King of Cups. And it says, the house in Lenormand is the card representing your house, your home, that place that means security and stability. It is a warm, safe place, a source of comfort and contentment. In this card, we see smoke rising up from the chimney, suggesting that someone is home, tending to the hearth, providing a warm welcome to family or visitors. Just as the house is the structure that protects you, it means that you need structure and boundaries in other areas of your life as well. Security, stability, comfort, structure, and welcome. So needing boundaries is important because it's coming right below the snake. And having a sense of security. So this is working on secured attachment, because some of the things that are kind of at play with the snake card are, fearing that there's third-party interference, fearing that your person is deceiving you, and all of that is coming from insecure feelings. And in order to overcome that, you're going to have to really work on that stable foundation, which we did see here with that 4 of Pentacles energy. Releasing your fear and anxiety, which we saw here in the Coffin card. The fear that it's all over, there's nothing new that's going to happen, I'm gonna be alone forever, whatever it is. But I'm really encouraging you to believe that you do have the ability to build a strong foundation for yourself. Let me get a little bit of tarot to clarify this, and then I will open up the floor if there's anybody. I'm seeing I have 18 subscribers now, so I definitely have new subscriber, and I will read a 2-card reading for all subscribers who are here, including new subscribers. But let's finish up this reading and get final advice here. Some tarot to clarify. I don't want this deck. Isn't that funny? Ooh! I grabbed the wrong one. I wanted my Lyseer's tarot, but I grabbed the Crow tarot. Thank you so much for the roses, Taylor. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who's here. It's kind of late, so I appreciate y'all. I'm definitely hoping some people book readings this weekend. I need to make about $400 before the 10th, so I have to do that in 2 days. So I need all the help I can get. Anybody wants to book a reading, please do so. Let's see. We've got the Justice card in reverse, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Fool. So there's that new fresh beginning that we get once we've let something go, let something pass, released something. And the Justice card is the imbalance. So things being unfair. The 6 of Pentacles is balancing out those scales, it's reciprocal energy, getting as much as you're giving. And the Fool card is taking a leap, not hesitating, taking a risk. So for me, this is under the House card. And this is really like letting go of your insecurity that just because you didn't get what you put in the past, that you are not going to get it in the future. You have to let that fear go. Just because that was your experience in the past does not mean that's what's going to happen in the future. Particularly if you start to become very good at something called creative visualization, which is one of the ways that we change the pathways in our brains so that we stop repeating cycles that happen to us over and over again. One of the reasons that you repeat cycles is because your brain is trained to survive, not to thrive. It's familiar with the obstacles you've had in the past, so it will recreate those obstacles so that it can overcome them again because it knows how to do it, and it feels like it's safe that way. It seems annoying, and it is. It's really annoying, and it does take some time and effort to overcome that way of thinking. However, the time and effort is actually really relaxing and fun. I am doing a retreat, a 24-hour guided retreat starting on January 7th at 11 in the morning. We will go through that whole day and then go to bed around 11 p.m. or you can go earlier than that if you want, but all of the festivities will end around 11 p.m. And then the next morning, we will all get back together at 11 a.m. to finish the retreat. It's going to teach you how to create a spa retreat in your home. So, you know, it would be nice if we could all afford to go to some exotic location, and maybe in the future we will be able to, but I wanted to make something accessible to people who don't have the luxury of being able to pick up and go to a spa. And I wanted you to be able to get the skills of creating that relaxation and space for yourself in your own home. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, keep your eyes peeled. In the next week or so, I will be selling tickets. There's only going to be 30 tickets available, and the whole cost for the entire thing is only $100. You're going to get multiple readings from me throughout that day. I've hired somebody to do a sound healing session. There's going to be a really cool preparing your sanctuary video that you're going to get before the retreat so that you can create a sanctuary space for yourself to enjoy the whole retreat. And we're going to look at this book together. You can either purchase this book, or I'm actually going to be sending a PDF too, so you don't have to buy it, because my goal is really to keep the retreat as inexpensive as possible so that you could literally just use ingredients you have in your own home. You don't really have to buy anything outside. It's not about consumerism. It's really about being able to start creating a vision for your life. But this is the book that we're using, and if you just are interested in creative visualization, I highly recommend this book. It's by Shakti Gawain, and there's a workbook available too. I don't have the workbook, I just have this book, but I've heard the workbook is good as well. I think this was like $11 or something. The workbook might be $15. But this will get you started if you are not already familiar with creative visualization, or you need some ideas. It has different stuff about clearing, which is that releasing, and it's the full moon tonight, so I'm not surprised that we got the Tower card and the Four of Pentacles, because what we are working on right now is releasing. Good to see you too, Veruca Salt, and I'm glad this is all accurate for you. So yes, if you're interested, that's going to happen on January 7th, and I'm really excited about it. My goal is that I will do it every month. We will start with one in January and the vision we have for our life. I thought it was good because it's New Year. A lot of people want to make resolutions, but I didn't want to just be like, oh, let's make resolutions. I wanted you to actually define what vision you have for your life and then start to visualize that. And then for those of you who enjoy that retreat, if you want to participate again a month later, we will be doing an in-bulk retreat that's about taking inspired action toward the vision that you created. If you can't attend the retreat, if the tickets are sold out, or it's not within your budget, I am going to offer the pre-recorded content later at a reduced cost. I haven't decided what that cost will be because I have to talk to the 2 other creators that are building this retreat with me. But once we decide on a price, I will let you know so that you can go ahead and do the retreat on your own. You won't be able to participate in the discussions or have the one-on-one readings for me that I'm offering at a discounted rate on Sunday, but you'll be able to get all the content from the retreat. And ideally, you learn how to do it in your own home anyway, so it would still work even if you can't be at the live one. So that's all going to be available for January. All right, let's start getting into some people's readings here. If you are a subscriber, which means you have followed and then subscribed here to my channel, first of all, let me thank you. I appreciate that so much. It really helps I'm pretty sure it helps my content in the TikTok algorithm. If you're making money for them, then I'm sure they're like, please go to this live so the person can make more money for us. So it's good for that. It basically helps me with marketing. And it also, it makes it easier so that I can offer people readings. And I really like that I can just be like, hey, what's your question? It's very nice. But if you want a private reading or a longer, deeper reading, you can click the link in my profile. You'll find there I have readings starting at $33 and going up to $100. And I'm sure you can find something in there that will work for you. And again, anybody who can book readings this weekend, I would really appreciate it. I definitely could use the help. All right, so let's see. Okay. Oh, can I post a PDF to the book? Yeah, I can do that. You can also probably just find it if you Google creative visualization PDF. You'll be able to find it pretty easily. But yeah, I'll try to remember to post a link on my page. Okay, so who has a question that is a subscriber? I'm seeing Dana. And I know you're saying there's so much change in limbo in my life, it's overwhelming and there's so many unknowns. Do you have a specific question or do you want me to just pull a couple cards about that? Also, for a treat, there's not that many people in here. I think I'll pull, after I finish subscribers, I'll pull a card for everybody that's here. About something that they should release tonight with the full moon energy. I think I see you here too, Nicole. If you have a question, let me know. I sometimes forget that I'm a Leo because my Pisces rising is strong. But then when I wear jewelry like this, I'm like, I need to have way more jewelry and be way more queenly than I actually am. My Pisces is like, no makeup, you know, like no jewelry, no makeup, just like free flowing, comfortable pants. And my Leo is like, let's get dressed up. And I just never do it. Struggling with negativity, misanthropic love relationships, hope and future. Okay, so let's just pull a couple of cards for some advice for you in regards to these issues, and then I will also pull one for you for the full moon release. These cards are stupid. Okay. So the first two cards that I pulled, yes, extra Leo ladies. So Dana, the first two cards I got for you, I have the High Priestess here, and I have the Four of Pentacles, which we just got before. So when that happens, that's showing me that you're definitely meant to see that collective reading, and those messages probably resonated for you, as you did say they did. Not surprising. 12:11 on the clock. Well, I'm looking at the clock. So what I'm seeing, this is associated with twin flame. It's also 12:11. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. But it's associated with twin flame for a reason, and it's because of the black and white columns that are normally visible in this image. They do a shout out to them in this image. I almost bought pomegranates tonight. The High Priestess is basically the queen of the night. She is associated with the moon and the divine goddess energy within, the intuition, trust, secrecy, because she guards the inner sanctum. The Four of Pentacles, as I said before, is a card about, it can be about building a financial foundation. It can be about having to release or let go of something that you're holding on to very tightly, or releasing the attachment to people's opinions or ideas about you. Thank you for saying I look amazing. Also, Aquarians are, I'm fucked so hard with Aquarians, honestly. My Pisces, which is as spacey enough for Aquarians, and then Leos and Aquarians tend to get along pretty well. So the High Priestess and the Four of Pentacles here, It's telling me that you already know what you need to release. And I'm not surprised, because when I pulled your card for what you need to release, I got this guy, the King of Cups. And the problem with this guy is he's the greatest. He's so sweet and kind and compassionate, caring, loving, and he makes an excellent companion and partner and husband and father. But he's silent. He doesn't know how. Well, it's not that he doesn't know how. He does know how, because he has emotional mastery. He chooses not to express his deeply held feelings to avoid conflict. And so it's like you never get to hear what he's actually feeling. He just coasts along on top of those feelings. And what you might need to let go of is not necessarily this person. It could be you might need to let go of your need for him to express those deep feelings to you, because you already know how he feels. And this doesn't mean that like it's okay to be in a partnership with somebody who never communicates with you. That's a problem. That's something that does need to be addressed. Like, there is a need to work on a foundation of healthy communication. But sometimes we desire people to say what we think we need to hear, because we're not really secure enough to believe what we already know. And I have a King of Cups myself. I have a Cancer person in my life, so I understand this energy a lot. So yes, I do think that you need to let go maybe of this need to feel like the only way you can trust this person's love is if you see these external demonstrations of it. Again, this doesn't mean that it's okay to have a companion who doesn't really communicate or express or show love for you. Like, that's not, you have to make a choice. You have to make a decision about a relationship like that and be like, this person loves me, but they choose not to show it to me. They avoid it. They don't, feel the need to figure that out or fix that. And that's a standard I have that needs to be met. Unconditional love means we have love without condition. But conditions must exist in order for you to be in companionship with me. Like, I have unconditional love for everybody. I'm not gonna fuck them and I'm not gonna marry them, right? But I'm trying to exist in a place where I have unconditional love for anybody. I don't understand why you just made the choice you made. I'm sending you love, but I definitely don't want you to sit at my table. It's not because I don't love you. It's because I love me. I have unconditional love for me, and I want to be able to feel comfortable at my own table. So that's something that you're needing to work on right now. And also just trusting that you yourself, the love that you're expressing or pouring out towards someone else, you yourself deserve that kind of love. And you do deserve to have it expressed. And there are times when we have chosen a person in our lives who is just not the one that is really capable of expressing that. So I hope that helps you. If you need a deeper reading, you can of course book a private one on my site. You can also check out my Tuned In Tarot YouTube. There are hours and hours of free reading there, and I'm a firm believer that you don't have to pay to get the messages you need. I do a lot of collective readings because I feel like you'll hear what you need to hear in those readings. So thank you so much for subscribing, and when I see you again, when I go live, you'll be able to ask questions again, and I'll pull 2 cards for you then. Hi Luna, I just saw your messages to me. What are you doing? Are you gonna go live? Is there any of my other subscribers who would like 2 cards pulled? I will read for you first, and then after that, since there's still not too many people in the room, I will pull 1 card for everybody who would like to know something that they should release with this full moon energy. You're welcome, Dana. Thanks again for subscribing. I appreciate you. Couple hours. Oh, good luck with your private reading, babes. I'm Aubrey. Is Aubrey still in here? to check. Aubrey wants to do photos with me, and I would love to do that. Oh, she's not here anymore. But I'm kind of feeling I want to do a nude photo with just this. Like a tasteful one. Like, you're not gonna see anything, but you know. You're welcome, no worries. I'm appreciating you too. Ooh, enjoy your salt bath. I'll pull a card for you. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card for Luna on anything she might need to release tonight. I'm also gonna take a salt bath. Actually, I got Himalayan pink salt bath thing, and I will do that for my full moon release tonight. I have a full moon release. I'm just gonna do like my own tonight, but then I have a ritual tomorrow with one of my, well, she's my sister witch in my coven. Okay, Nicole, I'll grab your 2 cards in just a minute. And you just want general, and then I'll get your full moon release card too. All right, Luna, let's get your full moon release. Ooh, look at that Knight of Swords energy. This is rushing things. Oh, girl, I feel you. It's also, I think, letting go of maybe the pain from some of the truths that you've had to embrace lately about yourself, about your person, about where you're heading, the direction that you're heading. I definitely think rushing or feeling like you need things to go faster is something that you can just release. Like, everything's happening exactly when it's meant to. You know, divine timing is perfect. So when we release things, you want to call in what you desire. Now, I keep seeing these people who are very angry, like, the full moon is not about manifestation, and they're like so mad about it. And I'm like, girl, it's okay. You can work on manifestation any fucking day of the week. If you want to do it on the full moon, if you want to do it on the new moon, if you want to do it, you can do it whenever you want. Like, there's not like a rule that's like you can't manifest ever. First of all, if you're thinking and feeling, you're manifesting. If you are consciously doing that and working with creative visualization, you're probably manifesting some nice shit. If you're doing it unconsciously, it's probably not that great. So the benefit to the full moon energy that exists 3 days before and 3 days after the full moon cycle is just that when you go to release things, there is like an energetic rush that kind of helps sweep it out for you. And sometimes it just comes in 12:21 the clock right now for the mirrored numbers. Sometimes it just comes in and sweeps it out, whether you like it or not, whether you tried to do it or not, and you don't really need to do anything. You can just sit there and experience full moon energy and be crying and carrying on and wondering what's wrong with you, and then somebody's like, oh, it's the full moon. You're like, oh. For me, it's always the day after the full moon usually that I feel really fucked up. But the full moon, so the way that I do the moon cycles is the new moon is a time when I start to like set intentions. And I don't set intentions necessarily on the night of the new moon. I just become conscious that things are going to start to reveal themselves to me that I want to set intentions about. And then as I come through to the full moon cycle, 12:22 now, I come through to the full moon cycle, what I feel happens then is this is my point where I can release or clear out anything that is blocking me from following through on the intentions that I set. And then when I release something, I want to call something in to replace the thing I'm releasing. And when you call something in, that's kind of manifesting. So I really don't understand why there's these people that are all in a tizzy over manifestation on the full moon. It's weird. It's like, calm down. I don't know why you're so upset. So if you're releasing a need to rush, then you're calling in just a need to be at peace about the time, or just to take your time, or let things move at their own speed, or just go with the flow. So basically you can set an affirmation that's like, I am easily able to go with the flow, or I have always I have ease with going with the flow. And then Why is it so easy to go with the flow? And the reason why you should add the question at the end of your affirmations is because the I am is the embodiment of something. I have is a spiritual state. And then the question is the mind. Because if you pose a question to yourself, like, why is it so easy for me to go with the flow? Your brain starts to answer the question. It starts to be like, well, it's easy for you to go to the flow because, and it gives you all the reasons why it's easy to go with the flow. And it's a subconscious programming that goes on. So it's really effective. It's called lofty questions. Awesome. I'm so glad about that. Okay, Nicole, let's check your cards here. We're going to get 2 cards for your general reading and then a card for your full moon release. Oh, that's not the first time we saw that tonight. Ooh, nice cards. Okay. There was a lot of stuff that came out. Thank you for the pearl, baby. I love my pearls. I gotta pull another one. Okay. Damn. Okay. So your first 2 cards, Nicole, you got the Star and you got the 9 of Pentacles. So this is really positive, uplifting energy. Generally speaking, you are healing whatever parts of yourself that weren't really allowing self-indulgence or allowing your rewards to come through. You've got an energy of aspiring to really enjoy your life and be abundant. This can also be wishing to be open in your single energy to a counterpart energy. And it can also be about being attached to someone that you might have put on a pedestal. So that could be the shadowy part of the general message here. Just to be careful of that, of being too attached to a specific thing. It's like you have to aspire versus attachment. I think that's part of my keynote speech for the visual or for the virtual retreat I'm gonna do. So aspire for something versus being attached to it. So I use the example, and I think you were here before when I talked about this, but I use the example of myself aspiring to be a rock star versus being attached to becoming a rock star. And the difference sounds like I like being a rock star. That's aspiring. I like it. It's fun. I like to sing. I like people to notice me. I like people when people pay attention to me. Sorry about it. I'm a Leo, and my parents wanted me to be on Star Search when I was like 5 years old. So it was like indoctrinated into me. Versus I want to be a rock star. Because when you want something, you're grasping for it. You want people to notice you. You're attached. It's like, it's a much less open energy, right? It's kind of a closed, like, grasping energy. And if it doesn't happen the way that your attachment is telling you, it's very disappointing. Like, if I was really attached to the way my 14-year-old self was envisioning I would be a rock star, I wouldn't feel any of the success I have right now is relevant. And there are tons of times where I do kind of dip into that. Like, I'm a failure. Like, wait, how are you a failure? You went and lived in Los Angeles for 10 years. You worked with all these bands. You produced musicians. You produced yourself. You put out an awesome single. You're going to put out an EP. You headlined shows. You did, but it's not, I'm not like Tori Amos, which is what I was wanting to be when I was in high school. So aspire versus attachment. That's definitely coming up for you. And then your full moon release, I pulled another card because you got the same card as Luna. So you might be rushing things. And I think because you want something so badly. Because this is the Ace of Wands. And for me, coming out with these 2 cards and having your theme be aspiring versus attachment, what you want to release right now is this rushing, this desire that you want so badly. Because that is actually closing you off to receiving. When we rush things, I think it's because we fear it's not going to happen at all. And when you're really sure something's going to happen, you're not rushing it so much. You might be excited about it. It's like when you're a kid, you know Christmas is going to happen and it's exciting, and you might be like, oh, I wish Christmas would happen sooner, but you are not scared it's not going to happen. You know it will happen. You're just like excited about it. So give yourself the conviction that you know this is going to happen, whatever it is that you really strongly want. There's no need to rush it. Rushing it, in fact, is reckless, and it will cause issues. It will unfold in an uncomfortable way, etc. I love the pods. Those animations, I love them. Thank you so much for the gifts. Amanda, hi, how are you? Welcome. Okay, so what we are doing, for those of you that are just joining now, I am reading for my subscribers first. My subscribers have the little prayer badge by their names. If you subscribe, I will also read 2 cards for you, plus the full moon release card. If you are not a subscriber, I will pull a full moon release card for you. Anyway, Texas honey, you can't sleep? Well, I looked too good to go to sleep. I was like gonna go to bed, and then I'm like, no, I'm going live. Look at my jewelry. Like, I look way too pretty to go to sleep right now. My Leo came out, girl. Sitting out by your fire pit. Oh, I love that. I can't see the moon tonight because it's raining here, so I'm kind of sad about that. But it's supposed to clear up tomorrow, so I should be able to see it tomorrow night, hopefully. I drove to a concert my mom was in at it was the 101st performance that they've done at the St. Lawrence University in Canton, New York. They do like a Christmas choir thing. It's a service, and everybody and I got to sing Christmas songs, which I haven't done in a long time, and I was belting it out in my loud voice. I have an opera voice, you know, because I don't sing opera. I sing kind of jazzy or raspy, but girl, I can go into my opera voice when I need to. Yay! Okay, everybody. So Amanda, let's go ahead and do yours. Do you have a question? So after I finish my subscriber questions, I will be pulling 1 card for people for their full moon release, what they need to release for the full moon, if you want it. If you want that. Maybe you don't want to know what you need to release. It can be scary. Just love for you. Hi, Jindy. You're here too. Wow, everybody's here. Let's party. Also, y'all are staying up late. For those of you that aren't on the West Coast. Okay, so this is for Amanda, and then I'm going to pull a card for what you need to release as well. All right, Amanda, we have for you the 8 of Wands and the Death card. So the 8 of Wands is all about going with the flow, and we just talked about that. Might have been before you got here, though. And, oh, cool, your middle schooler is a singer? Well, if she needs voice lessons, I teach those. I went to Berklee College of Music, and I was a voice and synth principal. I did piano, and I did electronic production and sound design, so I produce artists and musicians. So the 8 of Wands is about going with the flow. It's about communication, and in this image in particular, we see the feminine energy. She's leading the way. She's also pulling, and sometimes she might be rushing things. Rushing things has come out twice tonight, so that's a theme, definitely. The Death card is all about transformation. It's about endings and new beginnings. It is definitely something that we fear usually, and something, even though we do fear it, it requires that we go through a process of grief when we let something go before something new can be reborn. So what I'm seeing is there is a desire that you have to kind of, I think, maybe force communication a little bit, like, or maybe you want the communication to be about emotions and you want to lead it in that direction. And there is this need for you to transform this energy. Rather than pulling or pushing, you want to be more open to receiving. 12:33 on the clock. So you want to end any, like, this is like, you know when you get the readings that are like, don't text him readings. It's like that. It's like, let me tell you, I'm a person of many words, as you know, if you followed me for a while. It's easy for me to communicate, and I have a lot to say. And I spend a lot of time and energy in my relationship with my person utilizing my skill as a communicator. And it didn't do any good. And, well, you know what? I won't say it didn't do any good, because I'm sure that there are things that were revealed to my person that were beneficial. Because I sent loving messages and I sent clear messages about what I wanted. But no amount of communication on my part was able to convince this person to communicate in any way except for the way that he is most comfortable. The way he is most comfortable in communicating has been sending vague Instagram stories or making playlists of other artists' music. That's not really good enough for me to want to be in a relationship with him. So no amount of my communication, my emotional, heartfelt, heart-centered communication has been able to pull him in the direction I want him to go. So rather than continuing to struggle, it's like, just end that and like open yourself up to receiving somebody who does lead with their heart and does have the ability to express, or be patient with this person and allow them to, you know, come to this when they're ready. And those are basically your two options. The thing you need to release is the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is, this was the card that actually came up for that Divine Masculine channeled love letter today, which was a beautiful love letter. It's funny, usually that goes viral, and it didn't today. I was surprised by that because it was a really good letter. Maybe it will though tomorrow. Sometimes it picks up, but it might have been when I posted it too. I just kind of posted it randomly tonight. But the Three of Pentacles for me can be about feeling like there's something getting in between you and what you desire. So releasing that feeling. It can also be about working in partnership, doing work in partnership or teamwork, working on something. In this deck in particular, it has something to do with caring a lot about how people perceive your accomplishments as well. Because it's about accolades and rewards for hard work that you've put in, but also kind of needing other people to notice that. And sometimes this emotional communication that we do, and I'm speaking from personal experience, it's like wanting my person to notice how hard I'm working to be the best I can, when I never really needed to do that to begin with. My person fell in love with me the second he saw me. I didn't have to say or do anything. I know that's true. And everything I said and did after was just icing on a cake that was already baked. And, you know, there really wasn't anything I needed to do to make him see me, love me. Nothing. Because it's never been really about me. It's been about what he's willing and open to receive. And he's not open to receive my love. He's not, as far as I can tell by his behavior, open to that. He's very closed off to that. And it's not about me. It's about him. So maybe feeling like some feelings about that. So tonight, before you go to bed, maybe think about some of those things and work to just let that go or release it. Just, you don't have to concern yourself with it anymore to release. I like to think of releasing with the full moon the way that I was taught to think about the act of reconciliation in Catholic Church, because when you go to confession, which is officially called the act of reconciliation, you are told that whatever sins that you unload during your confession, they are forgiven. You don't carry them anymore. They're gone. They're wiped out. They're not a part of you anymore. If you continue to feel guilty about them after confession, that in and of itself is something you can confess the next time you go, because that is not believing in redemption, not believing that God really forgives you. Now, I'm not into Christian stuff much anymore. I mean, I still feel like there's beautiful elements of Christianity, but I don't practice that way anymore. But I do think the act of reconciliation is powerful. And if you treat the full moon release similarly, like the things that you release, they are gone and you don't have to keep releasing them. If they creep back up, release them again. But you can also tell yourself, oh, this isn't a thing. I already released this. Okay. So, Texas Honey, you said you were down for a few cards tonight too. Did you have a specific question? Oh, thank you for saying you love this necklace. It's BCBG. I had a friend who used to work for them, and I have like 20 pairs of BCBG sunglasses and a ton of jewelry from them. Ooh, your date this weekend. Yes, once you give up chasing and pulling, it feels so good. Like I haven't done that in so long. And you might sometimes feel the need to write, to write a letter or message, and you can always write it just keeping it to yourself and not sharing it. Or you can send it, as long as you're not attached to receiving a communication, it's safe to communicate. If you expect a communication and you know you're going to be disappointed if you don't get one, don't send it. How do you release that? Well, you can write it down on a piece of paper, and you can actually burn the paper. And as you're burning, just envision, like, the best thing to do for releases is to try to find a way to visualize the feeling. Like, the feeling for me of like pulling someone or trying to like coax them or nurture them, come up with some kind of a visualization of that. Like, imagine that picture of the Eight of Wands where you're pulling your person's hand, and just imagine letting go of their hand. Just let go of their hand. This is also something that the feminine energy tends to do, because we were maybe over-mothered or under-mothered. It depends on the situation we had growing up. And because we are trained that we are supposed to care for the masculine energy and like do everything for them, the emotional processing, it's really infantilizing to think that a full-grown person can't figure it out. Like, you figured it out, right? So they'll figure it out. So imagining yourself just letting their hand go, because they're not a child and they're going to be able to find their own way, and then turning and walking straight ahead in the direction you want to go in, which means you should probably know what direction that is, and that direction might be independent of another person, and it will definitely be towards things that make you feel really good, your passions, your interests. And then picture yourself heading towards that. Like, for me, like, let's say I was doing this visualization. Maybe I will do this visualization. I will picture letting go of my person's hand and then turning and walking, straight into this new home that I want in the next place that I live, or onto the stage to do a show, to perform a show, if that's what I want to do. So try that. See how that works for you. All right, Texas Honey, let's look at the advice for your date. I'm excited about your date. I'm so glad you're dating. That's amazing. I want to move to my new location so I can start dating. I'm also going to pull a full moon release card for you, something that you can release during the full moon. For those of you that are interested in a private reading, you can click the link in my profile and find it there. There's also a place to become a member, so you can see the additional content I post for members. And there is a place you can listen to my music if you're interested, because I am a musician first. I am Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and I have done music for 20 years or something. I'm on all the streaming services, and you can go check it out. Oh, I love you too, Amanda. Thank you. So your date card, you're getting a Knight of Cups, which I really like. It's coming out with this Two of Swords though, so this is very interesting. Let's look at it. So what's interesting is this kind of came out in reverse and I flipped it over, but I don't read reversals in this deck. But then to come out with the Two of Swords is about being indecisive or not wanting to make a decision about something. Things coming to a standstill. So what I want you to do is I want you to not fear that you're going to end up in the same kind of holding pattern after this date that you've experienced with other dates in the past, right? Where you have a nice time and then it just kind of reverts to this texting thing and then it just sort of fades away, nothing happens, there's no movement, it's just stuck or stagnant or whatever. I think like not being afraid of that happening would be good. And I also want you to keep in mind that the choice is up to you. A lot of times when we're dating, we have this feeling like we're waiting for them to choose us, and it's really the other way around. It's like when you know that you have an abundance of potential partners, you really have the sense that this person is really interviewing for a job, and you get to choose whether you're interested in continuing things or not. Make sure that power dynamic is balanced. They don't look happy. Well, the Two of Swords is what you fear. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's a fear that is coming up, that it might just end up being this can also be like, maybe it's better just to keep it like in this exciting place where it's just about kind of texting and it's kind of comfortable. This can be like, get out of your comfort zone on this date. Like don't let yourself slip into the same old patterns. Like change it up, do something a little different. What you need to release is the Three of Wands. So this is like always seeing the future potential of something. So knowing what I'm like when I'm dating, and what a lot of people are like, it's very possible that you look at this person, you're going to go on a date with them, and you're already thinking about the future. And this is a call to just be very present in the now. Like release any thoughts about what is coming, what you can see, the possibilities. Like you're not going on this date to find out if you're going to get married to this person. You're going on this date to find out if you even want to choose this person. Because you've got options in this card, right? There's more than one person here. So you have options. So just be present. Don't worry a lot about the future. And if you are still kind of waiting for somebody, maybe not even sort of acknowledging that that's happening, the feeling of waiting might be good to release. So maybe your visualization tonight is that you are sitting in a waiting room and you just get up and walk out of the waiting room, and then just visualize being really present on your date. Whatever your date is going to be, imagine going there and what does it feel like to be really present. All right, so I hope that helps you. Are there any other members? I saw is it Jindy? I saw you. Did you have a question tonight? Also, I'm reading this message. Oh, wow. That's a powerful memory for you of holding his hand. Yeah, the waiting room thing, I'm going to do that too. You know what? I'm going to write this shit down because I'm going to forget. Because I want to visualize these things too before I go to sleep. Oh, by the way, I learned that horoscopes is time observer. Isn't that interesting? Okay, what is today? It is December 8th, and I'm gonna do visualization for full moon release, and it's letting go of his hand and leaving the waiting room. So for the leaving the waiting room thing, you could envision that you finally get to go into the thing you're waiting for, or that you just get up and walk out. You don't even wait for it anymore. Okay, so Jindy, let's look at you. Whatever comes, or is what I've waited for that came back real, and what are the emotions behind it? Okay, that's a lot. Here, let's just see what comes out. All right, I'm gonna change my deck because that deck is not cooperating. Oh, look at that. A card comes right out when I did that. That's funny. That's like confirmation, you know? Look at that. That's so funny. I could not get one to come out of that. Okay, so for the first part, is what I've waited for come back real, and what are the emotions behind it? Okay, so what I have here is the Fool and the 10 of Wands, and then I have what you need to release, which I think is really interesting, but we'll get there. So the Fool card for me is like a hesitation, is like, and you are hesitating right now because you're like, is this actually real? Or so this hesitation that you're in right now, this hesitating energy, this not being willing to take the risk, because you don't feel like you're going to be fully supported. It's a burden that you're carrying. So you've been on this journey and this path by yourself, and you've been carrying all of the weight. And I think that taking this trust fall right now is very difficult, because you know how hard it was to do this, and there's a fear that if you do this trust fall, there's not going to be the support, and you're going to be just carrying that whole weight again. So remember, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, it's what you're creating. So you have to shift your thoughts about this situation. You have to believe that you can trust fall because you were never meant to be caught by another person. When you trust fall, you're caught by your higher self. You're caught by the source, or whatever you want to call that energy. So you're always going to be safe no matter what. And you also were never carrying this burden alone. You were never given more than you could handle. And there was always somebody there along with you that would help to alleviate the burden. And that's the beauty of really believing in your higher self, believing in that source energy, and that it brings the right community to you at the right time, the right people, the right tools. It always works out. Like, you know, having to come up with $400 in 2 days is really intimidating to me. And if I go into my ego mind, I'm right here with you. I fear that I can't trust, that if I, just keep doing things the way I'm doing, that this burden is going to be shared, that the universe is going to provide. And I know that by not believing in that, it makes it difficult for the universe to provide me with things, because I don't notice opportunities. I don't take opportunities. I stay in my anxiety. I put my energy towards things that don't work at all, because I'm trying to do something, because I don't believe that if I just follow my heart and follow my intuition, that I will receive that $400 when I need it. So that same energy applies here in this relationship. Your trust has to come from being able to trust yourself, your support network, your community that you have around you, and that your higher self is going to lead you directly where you need to go. And what you need to release is very interesting. It's the Sun. And the Sun card, everybody looks at this, the happiest card. It's the most auspicious card. And then they look at the Devil card and they're like, oh, that's the worst card. It's a shadowy card. But I often like to compare the Sun and the Devil card. And I like to say the Sun seems like it's all good and the Devil seems like it's all bad. But the Devil is also about pleasure. It's about allowing yourself to receive pleasure. And that's an important thing in our lives. The Sun card is about, the shadow that comes with the sun card is when if you stay out in the sun too long, you're going to get burned, right? You can't get too much sun. You actually can't. It would kill you if you didn't get out of the sun eventually. So releasing this fear that this is too good to be true, number one, and number two, releasing this belief that this relationship is a source of your happiness. It is not a source of your happiness. It is a reflection of your happiness. The happiness that comes from within you is reflected outside of you. If that thing becomes a source for your happiness and it goes away, your happiness goes with it. And that's why we have to find our own inner joy, our own bliss. See how there's one person here and she's open to that? And hold on to that no matter what. But let go of this idea that this other person carries their happiness in their hand and they do not, you cannot give them your happiness. You have to keep that yourself. And that, you know, just the fear that it's too good to be true also, because that's something else that can block us from actually feeling the joy that is finally being reflected back to us. Good. I'm glad that hit. Those cards jumped right out. So you'd like a pleasure card? Oh, me too, babes. It's been a while for me. You're welcome. Yes, you did work hard for that happiness and joy, and it is being reflected back to you. But it is not that relationship you're having. It's not the source of it. It's a result of you finding happiness and joy within you. All right. Is there any other subscribers here who have not received a response to a question? Now is your chance. For all the rest of you, I will be pulling one card of something that you need to release for the full moon. So, I'm seeing Nyasia. Are you still here, babes? I'm checking. Yeah, it looks like you're still here. I'm going to pull a card for you about what you need to release for the full moon. Eight of Cups. Okay. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that doesn't serve us towards our higher calling. It's about recognizing that while there may have been good things there were also things that were not good. And there wasn't a way to separate those two things. And so we have to go our own way. It's a bittersweet kind of an energy. And it is this feeling of return also, expecting someone to return to us. So I think that you may need to release a fear of walking away from somebody or like missing an opportunity if you go towards your higher calling. And you may also need to release this belief or this, maybe not belief, need. That's the word I want to say. Release a need for somebody to return to you in order for you to feel happy. See the sun that's there? Because again, like I said to the last person, it is not the presence of a person in your life that brings you happiness. Their presence is a reflection of the happiness that's already within you, that you already feel. And so maybe going on a journey to discover what's meaningful or blissful to you is going to really help you right now. But release any need for someone to return to you or any fear you have that if you walk away from something that's not so good right now, that you're not going to experience joy somewhere else. Because from this card, it's clear that you will. Yes, you can, obviously you can release more than the one card that I'm pulling for you tonight. Okay, is it Text Memories, I guess we'll say, is your name. All right, so something that you need to release right now. This is the Four of Wands. I often associate this with the Twin Flame card. It's also healthy foundations in relationships, a celebration, and coming back together or reuniting with somebody. So it is likely that you need to release, I don't know if you believe in twin flame dynamic, but a lot of times we get a lot of messaging about twin flames that are completely bullshit and not true at all. And the story of the twin flame gets very distorted. It is not based on research. Most of the people that I see reading about twins, they don't know anything about the real origins of that dynamic, which is ancient, Sumerian, Egyptian. Almost every single belief system has the law of polarity, which is a law about opposites, a masculine energy, a feminine energy. It is not a law of heterosexuality. It is not a law of like two people coming together and going on a mission and being a power couple. It's purely about balance within self and being a whole person, having those two aspects of self expressed within you. And there is a person outside of self that we choose. And a lot of people teach that we don't choose our twin. You absolutely do choose that person, because whoever you choose to focus on, I mean, it's a choice you're making. We choose that person is the person who teaches us these lessons. But when we hold on to the twin, when we hold on to the storyline, it gets a hold on us. And it keeps us from moving forward in our lives. It keeps us from having healthy foundations and relationships. Because the point of the twin flame journey is connection. It's absolutely connection. Yes, yin yang is another way of expressing duality. So my feeling is you probably need to release this storyline because it's blocking you from actually having healthy foundations in relationships. Even with this person that you may think is your twin, believing that somebody you're destined to be with, that's the fate, you're supposed to be with this one single person, it's detrimental to you and to the person that you're focused on. It's not helpful. It doesn't bring you together. You know, I think it's actually counterintuitive to a certain extent. You may also just be afraid that you're not going to experience joy in your life, that you're not going to have healthy foundations in general. And releasing any fear in regards to that is something that I highly recommend, because it is simply the fear itself that kind of is, it's just our ego mind, and it keeps us from making decisions that would put us into situations where we can have this. If we fear we're never going to be able to have healthy foundation to celebrate and have love in our lives, then we'll pick somebody that is super unavailable, and we'll focus all of our time and energy on that so that the fear that we have becomes true. And to release this fear, I think what I would do is I would picture, you can kind of do any of the things, any of the release methods I said tonight, because they would probably work for you as well. If there's a certain person you're attached to, imagine that you let go of their hand and walk forward towards something that you would really enjoy doing. So if you know already what you would make you happy, what would make you want to celebrate yourself. My example is I'm a musician. I would love to perform on stage, or honestly right now I would love to be able to do the retreat I'm doing in an actual spa. Oh God, that would be amazing. But I'm really excited about my virtual retreat, so I can picture myself walking towards a spa retreat where I get to actually be in a spa and run the retreat from a spa, you know. It can be anything, but just something that seems fun or exciting or interesting. Just let go of your person's hand and walk towards that event. Imagine your friends there celebrating. You can also picture yourself in a marriage celebration, but just don't give the person that you're with an identity. Just like have them always with their back to you so you can't see their face. Like maybe you see their body, their build, or you see like what their hair is like, but you don't see their face, because I want you to remain open on this journey. And it's not that I don't think that people who we focus on as a twin won't be a potential mate for us. I do think that is extraordinarily rare. there's 20,000 people following me. I think the majority of those people are not going to be with the person that they've been focused on. Because a lot of times we pick that person from our past, our old self-concept, and our old self-concept doesn't know shit about who we are now. Like, an example I give about old self-concept versus new self-concept is I used to be homeless when I was living in Los Angeles for a while. I was homeless. I lived in my car, and then eventually I lost my car, and I was living at, like, you know, on people's couches. It was not a good time. I was working. I had jobs. I had 2 jobs actually, but it was just not enough for me to get like a security deposit together. So I went through this awful time, and then finally this one day I met somebody who happened to have this thing, they were involved in a program for youths and inner city youths that needed like different things to be able to do after school, and they had like this graffiti lab thing, and there was an unused music studio, and they needed somebody to volunteer time to like set it up, and I was like, I'll do it. And so even though I was homeless and I had nothing, I started going and volunteering at the studio. It felt good. It was a place for me to go, and they let my band rehearse there. So my band and I got together, and we were able to rehearse there for our shows. And the woman who ran the program eventually found out about my situation, and she offered me housing in an apartment in downtown LA. And so I was able to get an affordable housing unit. And at the time that I got that unit, I was so happy. I finally had a place to go. I had no furniture. It was a shit show when I first moved there. I had like a blanket on the floor, an air mattress, and like my DJ table that I used to perform shows with. Not like but like an actual table that you put your stuff on. And a bench, like a piano bench. That was all I had. And but I lived in that place for 3 years. And by the 3rd year, I hated it. The first year, I had no furniture. It was the greatest place on earth. The 2nd year, I started to get furniture. It was like really becoming my home. I was proud of it. The 3rd year, I was so stressed out by the noise in the city, the smell. It was awful. I had a dog. Trying to walk the dog in that grotesque neighborhood was horrible. There were rats. It was like COVID. You couldn't go anywhere. I had no car. I couldn't stand it anymore, and I needed to go. My old self-concept, right? That apartment was the best thing I could think of at the time. It was amazing. It was the best. It was crazy that I manifested that. Like, I had friends that were like, "Fuck, how much are you paying?" And I would be like, "Bitch, I was paying as much as you would like pay for a couch in LA." And it was incredible. By the 3rd year, my self-concept, I was doing tarot full time. I was making $100 an hour for my readings. So I'm not raking it in by any means, but I was able to support myself. I could afford to get a car. My life was better. And so that place didn't suit me anymore. And so when we get attached to a person that we desired 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 14 years ago for me, that person I started desiring when I was in a horrible marriage. I was being controlled. It was awful. And this person was like a celebrity, and he seemed so great, so amazing, you know? And so I started desiring him. And then I ended up being able to like facilitate the connection, and it all was starting to pan out so exciting. It was so amazing. You know, 14 years later, it's not that amazing anymore. I went and lived in Los Angeles. I performed with people on stage. I produced musicians. I hung out with people that I admired from high school. I was like, wow, turns out these people are just as unhappy, miserable, and addicted to shit as I am. Great. Like, they're not as cool as I thought, because my old concept had no idea. My new self-concept, I don't want really a lot to do with that world anymore. It doesn't interest me. I'm not like, oh my God, it's so terrible. I'm just like, I don't care about it. It's just not part of my self-concept anymore. So yeah, let go, release the person from your past, because they can't become a new version of themselves if you don't. So you can't get them to like align with you in your new self-concept until you let go of their old one. It's just not gonna happen. So I hope that helps you. Hi Abriel, how are you? Did you want 2 cards tonight? Also, MME Felicia, if you want a full moon release card, I shall certainly pull one for you. Let me pull that full moon release card. But Abriel, if you have a question, let me know, and then I will also pull your full moon release card too. So MME Felicia, let me pull a card for you. What do you need to release for this full moon? Speak of the devil, and the devil appears. We have the Six of Cups. It came out kind of not quite. It wasn't sure. It was like, am I up? Am I down? I don't know. And so for me, that's an indication of like you're probably on the fence about some past person in your life, about their importance, or you know, whether they're for you or their loyalty, even, because the dogs in this thing are reminding me of loyalty. This can also be about having had relationships in the past where people have not been loyal, or you've experienced betrayal in some way. So releasing any past energy in regards to believing that people will not be loyal, or sometimes if you fear you can't be loyal yourself, that can be something that we can fear. Loyal to ourselves, loyal to our own ideals. It can also be a past relationship in and of itself that maybe needs to be released, or just the way that you conceive of this person, kind of like what I just talked about, the old self concept. That also applies to your person. Your person, you have a concept of them, of what they were like, and a lot of times we want them to act differently, but the way they were is so ingrained in our brains that it's very difficult for us to imagine something else. So you could visualize like this version of your person walking out the door and coming back with like a new outfit and a haircut that looks really great, you know, like a glow up kind of for them. And you can picture them coming back through that door in with that new look and a sense that they have changed or transformed. I'm gonna add that to my visualization book. We're getting all the good ones tonight. I have so many notebooks. This is basically my book of shadows, where I like write down all of my witchy stuff that I'm working on, or stuff like this. So what did I say? Picture, he goes out the door and comes back brand new. I like that. I'm gonna put it that way, brand new. And then I have, this is where I write those divine masculine love letters that you see. They're all in this notebook here. This is like for TikTok content or ideas that I have. And then I have my morning pages, which I've been really shitty about keeping up with this year. I used to be pretty good about doing this. I would write 3 pages a day. But lately I can only write like this much, and then I'm just like, I'm done. But then I'm like, it's fine. Just, you know, if you only write that much, you only write that much. It's fine. But I have too many notebooks. I'm gonna leave this one open because I keep adding to it. Okay. Woo! Starting. Oh, it's 1:11, of course, when I look at the clock. Of course. You're welcome, Felicia. Oops. Did I flip this deck over? Eight of Pentacles. All right. Is there, oh, I was going to do 2 cards for you, Abriel, if you needed them, right? Did I do yours? Oh yeah, here's your question. Can I ask why I'm seeing 444 all day since yesterday? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oops. Oh my God. Interestingly, the 2 cards that fell out before I saw what you wrote, it was 2 4s. It was the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Swords, maybe? I can't remember the other one, but it was 2 4s. What just came out now is the Three of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, and it was like this. So my feeling is the Three of Wands, of course, is about that future potential, waiting for something to happen, having faith. And the Page of Pentacles is about the offer coming in, something that you're on the fence about. It's like you can see something coming to you, some kind of material gesture, some kind of an offer, some kind of initiation, a beginning, a start to something, but you kind of doubt it. So the 444 that you're seeing, which of course is 3 4s as well, and this is 3, it's significant because it is really telling you to have faith that you are going to get this initiation or this offer that you are seeking. Let me pull a card for you to release for the full moon. Just one card. This deck is really spitting them out. I just saw 4 of Pentacles. So that was the four of Pentacles again. 4 of Cups and it was the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is letting go of something, releasing something, and I'm pulling like what you need to release. Are you watching your person's social media? The Page of Swords can be about spying, looking, seeing, being curious, you know. And I think what this is telling me is you need to stop peeking. It's like when you're looking for your what presents, you know, you're getting for Christmas, you're kind of ruining the surprise. So stop peeking, because I'll tell you what happens when you look at your person. If you look at your person and your mindset is a doubt, you're gonna see reasons to doubt. And if you look at them and you feel and you have faith, you're gonna see reasons to have faith. So rather than confirm your doubts, maybe turn your curiosity to something about yourself that you would like to learn more about. Like, counter that need to see what your person is doing, because that is whenever we get that is just it's okay. Like, I don't want you to feel bad about it. You know, I do it all the time. My God, I look at my person's shit all the time. It's not something to feel bad about. It's just an awareness that it is a sign that you're doubting, because you wouldn't need to look if you believed that they were going to call you and talk to you. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't be like, oh, I wonder what my person is doing. Now, if you're in a relationship, you might look at their content, you know, because they're just one of your friends and they're going to pop up because you follow each other and you see it when you're following each other and it's open and it's honest and you're not using a private account. That's fine. But if you're not on that, if you can't do that, if you can't just go to your regular account to see what your person is doing, it's because you doubt them, right? So just release that curiosity about it and understand that it's just a little sign of doubt and it's no big deal. You can counter it with faith. When you get the urge to look, you can ask yourself, okay, the only reason I want to look right now is because I'm feeling a little bit of doubt. Rather than focus my attention on that doubt, I'm gonna get curious about something about myself right now. And just kind of explore yourself a little more, or some topic that you're interested in learning about, and just literally do that every time until it's like, you know, maybe set a time limit for yourself. Like, I'll check before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, if you're a person that checks a lot, and just like do that. Or I'll check once a week, or like once, you know, I know people's things disappear after 24 hours. So like maybe only one time a day or something. And then when you get the urge and any other times, except for that allotted time, you can be like, do I want to confirm my doubts right now? Or do I want to look into something a little bit more interesting for me? Okay. I hope that helps. I'm going to take that advice too. I've actually gotten pretty good about just checking like before I go to bed or in the morning when I wake up, and just being like, okay, a whole lot of bullshit. Well, that's what I was expecting, so that's what I'm seeing. And if I would stop expecting it, I would stop seeing it. Yes, like rehab. All right, I'm starting to get tired, people. Is there anybody else who would like me to pull a full moon release card for them before I go? I'll do a few more if there's anyone else who would like them. Otherwise, I'll be back. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I don't know what time. I've kind of been coming a little different times, seeing if there's new people. So I'm kind of playing with my schedule a little bit, but I should definitely be on tomorrow. At least once. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can click the link in my profile. You can also become a member. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm so glad it was amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing tonight. I appreciate that so much. And it's exciting because I'm at 18 subscribers. My goal is 22, so I'm very close to that. When I hit 22 subscribers that night, I will read 2 cards for anybody who's lucky enough to be there. So that is going to be what I'm going to do. And then my next goal after that, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll pull an oracle for everybody. Yes, Hannah, let me give you a full moon release card. So this is what you need to release. I'm going to get a new deck. I'm just feeling that one is getting a little stale. This is my Housewives Tarot, one of my favorites. I'm glad to end the night on this deck. But let me see something that you need to release right now for the full moon. And we've been doing cool visualizations for releasing. I'm pretty much, that's going to be my shtick from now on, is helping people visualize, because as a Pisces, I live my life in delusion, and I'm so good at visualizing things. All right, housewives, give it up. There we go. 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords is an energy of sneakiness, trying to get away with something, things going on behind the scenes, strategizing or planning. And when I see 7 of Swords that do this, it makes me happy, because this, showing the 2 of Swords and then the 5 of Swords here, is exactly why the 7 of Swords exists. It's a card about deception normally. There's only a couple reasons why people lie. Sometimes they're just compulsive liars. They just can't help themselves. They might be a Gemini. It's fine. They're just sneaky by nature. No shade to Geminis. I love them. My son's a Gemini. They're my favorite, but y'all are sneaky. It's fine. It's because you're so smart. And that's the mental part. The mental part. So some people just enjoy a lie. They like to see what'll happen. It's kind of fun, you know? And then the other reason most of the time why people lie is because they're trying to avoid conflict. They want to avoid conflict. They don't want to get in trouble for something. They don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I mean, if somebody says, do you like my dress? And you think it looks like terrible, most of the time you're just going to be like, oh yeah, it's great. You know, unless they're your best friend, you're like, don't go out in that. What are you doing? That's fucking ugly. You know, but for the most part, you're going to be nice to people. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to cause conflict, right? This is something for people that have autism, where there is not that, they don't wear the mask, like they don't, well, they have to wear a mask, but when they don't have the mask on, they're just blunt with people. They don't have that social grace where they don't hide. If somebody says, is my dress nice? And they're like, no, that's an ugly dress. They're like, oh my God, that's so terrible. But that's the truth from that person's perspective. But we avoid conflict. And the 2 of Swords is trying to get away with not having to make a decision about something that is really bothering us, that we keep thinking about. We just think like, if I don't make a decision, like maybe it'll go away. Like maybe not, you know, maybe it'll be okay. Or maybe I make a choice, and that choice is to, like, you know, do something that's kind of not on the up and up because I don't want other people to be upset or bothered, or I want to get away with something. So sometimes we project this avoidance. When somebody is avoidant with us, we project that they are avoidant because of malicious intent, right? We think like, this person isn't communicating with me because they're hiding from me on purpose, that they have other partnerships or they have other things going on that they don't want me to know about, because they're a bad person, because they are somebody who is knowingly deceitful. And it's 1:22 on the clock right now. If we think this way about a lot of people in our life, we have trust issues, basically. We feel like we can't trust people. They lie to us. They deceive us. we don't really sort of give space for the avoidance aspect of not being upfront about something. Sometimes conflict can be so overwhelming for a person that the only thing they can do is just avoid. My person, I know intuitively that is my person's issue. That like the conflict that will ensue from communicating with me, whether it's because we have to go into all of the history between us, or because it will cause conflict with his family or his job or whatever, it's overwhelming to the point where he refuses to make a decision. It's very frustrating, but at the same time, I kind of understand. It doesn't mean I'm like accepting it, like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, that's fucking annoying, but I get it, but it's still fucking annoying, right? Like, I'm still from New York at the end of the day. Like, so anyway, Gemini is your twin. So I just saw that. I didn't see that before. And yes, I'm a Pisces rising. So just like you, Abril, we're the same. My Pisces rising is honestly what makes me a tolerable person, because I'm a Leo sun and a Leo moon, and my Venus is in Virgo. So I think I would be a miserable bitch that was like super egotistical if my Pisces wasn't like, okay, calm down, y'all. Let's have a joint, like do a Reiki sesh and like unwind, you know? Like I think the rest of my chart would be like horrible. So you might be fearing right now that your person isn't honest with you for malicious reasons, and you have to just let that go. You have to release that fear, because the truth is, if your person isn't upfront with you and isn't honest with you and hides something that would be painful or hurtful, you are going to be able to survive finding out. You're going to be able to handle it. And building trust is really never about people suddenly becoming trustworthy. Like, you know, people be like, well, you have to earn my trust. I take issue with that. I don't know. I don't think you can earn someone's trust. I think the person that wants to trust in you has to find a way to trust themselves to make the best decisions for themselves and be able to handle it if the other person isn't honest. So what that means is you have to be able to trust your intuition. You have to be able to trust yourself that if you do catch your person in a lie, that you will then make a decision that is best for you. And, you know, allowing somebody to continue to lie to you again and again isn't best for you. So trust issues are all about trusting in ourselves to protect ourselves, to know when we need to get out, to believe we can handle whatever comes our way. And that if we do decide to go in a new direction, we're not only going to be safe, but we're going to experience something much better than what we had before. Oh my God, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I haven't seen that in a long time. Nice, a lot of similar signs here. Let's see. Yes, Janena, I will pull a card for you for the full moon release. Let me grab one for you. I'm so glad that resonated, Hannah. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, I think this will be like the last one I'm gonna do. Helena. Okay, this is what you need to release for the full moon, Helena. Queen of Wands. Okay, this can be anger, jealousy, low self-esteem, emotional reactivity, and a failure to hold your vision. Those are all things that could possibly come up as things you might want to release. Another thing you might want to release is we was just talking about Leos. And this is definitely a Leo card energy. if you're very dictatorial, if you think things should only be your way, this can be ego energy, like having a really big ego. But I think it's probably the opposite. I think it's probably having less confidence. That's usually what we need to release, like low self-esteem. Anger and jealousy usually come from insecurity, which comes from low self-esteem. Those things are all kind of linked together. So I would work on releasing anything that makes you feel like you can't be that you are not your best, most confident self. It can also be releasing a fear of being able to express your vision to others and clearly state what your vision is to people so that they can see, you know, who you are and what you want to bring to the table. Because she's gesturing, she's making this gesture. So those are all things you might want to work on. Ego death is a big one. Having a big ego for the Queen of Wands. It can also be if you have a maternal figure who is kind of any of those things, jealous, wrathful, anger issues, or there's someone in your bubble, in your consciousness, that you feel this energy of jealousy from, like a friend that maybe acts jealous, and it's like you can release that energy. You don't have to have that energy around you. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you liked those readings. I do have so many of them on Tuned In Tarot YouTube. I just want to make sure everybody knows about that, because I do the 3-minute ones here, but on YouTube I have hours of readings going back for 3 years, and they're all timeless. So if you don't know about that, please go subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 600, so I need $400 and 400 subscribers. Your mom is super critical and controlling. Okay, so it's likely not that you need to release your mom, because, you know, she's your mom. But you probably need to release the part of yourself that has the voice of being super critical and controlling, overbearing, or like there probably is that, because I have my mom's voices in there. She's a Virgo, so she's very controlling and overbearing too, and she has a Leo moon, like my moon. So a lot of times I have to release that self-critical voice that honestly feeds my low self-esteem. It really affects your self-esteem. As much as the boomers don't want to be responsible for anything and then say that we aren't responsible, the way we were raised by the boomers was pretty problematic, honestly. There's not a whole lot of people with healthy childhoods running around here. So I hope that helps you. For sure, any of that, the voice inside that's super critical. So if you might, so I've been trying to give people visualizations for releases tonight. I don't know if I did it for everybody, but I've been trying to do it when I think of it. So one of the things you might want to picture, you might want to envision the voice in your head that is self-critical and kind of, you know, taking on, it might appear as your mom in your head. You might want to see yourself standing up to that energy, or having a conversation where you're like, listen, I release your hold over me. You can also picture, you know, holding her hand. I was doing a visualization where we picture holding our person's hand and letting them go so that they can do their own thing and take care of themselves, and we don't have to lead them in any direction. So you can kind of do the same thing. You can picture your mom holding your hand, like walking in front of you, and she can turn around with a smile on her face, really kindly let go of your hand and just say, like, you know, I trust that you can do this. Like, I believe in you, because you want to reaffirm that you are worthy of people believing in your vision, of, you know, that having reasons to be confident about yourself. Reparenting is really helpful. Reparenting is a visualization that we do You go into a meditation, you get deeply relaxed as much as you can, and then envision, I came up with a new name. I was calling them magic parents for a while, and then the other day, or magnetic parents, and the other day I thought of your spirit mother. I was like, this is the best word. Okay, so for a while I was saying your magnetic parent, or because it's like a parent that doesn't necessarily look like your parent. Sometimes our memories with our parents are so traumatic that trying to be reparented by the parent we remember is very difficult. So you can create a new parent. My spirit mother looks like Meryl Streep, and my spirit father looks like a young Robert De Niro. So just picture your spirit mother, and it can be the Mother Mary, it can be, Hera, or a goddess energy, Isis, like it can be any divine mothering energy, or like a celebrity that you really love and feel like, I wish she was my mom. Like it doesn't even have to be an actress. It could actually be like, a female scientist in her field who's really amazing, or Brene Brown or something, like it can really be anyone. And picture that energy as your mother, as your spirit mother, and imagine like I'm sure you have a memory of your mother being very critical of you, like a significant memory from the ages of 0 to 7. And there is probably an event, like I always remember my grandmother poking my stomach when I was 8 and saying, "Look at that stomach, it hangs over like an apron." And I remember how much that hurt. I hated trying on clothes. I was an autistic kid, nobody knew it. Like I didn't have, because I was outgoing and stuff, I didn't have like the social things, and I masked really well because I could read people easily and I knew how to act, and so I would always have a mask. But I couldn't stand fabrics, like smells, like I had sensory processing disorder. So I hated trying on clothes. It was physically a painful experience and really upsetting to me. Plus I was a fat kid in the 80s, so it fucking sucked. And I remember that experience. It's so painful. It's something that used to make me cry when I would think about it. So I would, for my own visualization, what I would do is I'd go back to that scene, and I imagine my spirit mother intervening, telling off my grandmother, telling her she can't talk to me that way, coming and standing in front of me and being like, "You are beautiful. Don't ever let anyone make you feel that way. Everybody's bodies are different. We all have," just anything that you would say to sort of alleviate the pain that experience is. And then being hugged and held and allowing to feel sad, feeling upset. These visualizations are one of the most effective ways to heal those wounds that we have. It really does help. It really does help. And you can do it as many times as you need to do it. When you've really worked it out, you won't experience a lot of emotion anymore. It's, in creepy Scientology terms, it's when you have no reactivity, when your emotional reactivity goes away. But it means that it's no longer a trigger. So you've worked through it. You've become, like, it's become more peaceful within you. I love we were saying neurospicy now. That's cute. Oh my God, I love the fucking Little House on the Prairie. For a while, Charles Ingalls was my spirit father, but I ended up picking young Robert De Niro because I needed somebody who would stand up for me and like go to battle for me. And I pictured him like, if people like, because I had things that would happen to me in elementary and high school that I feel like I needed a protector. And Charles Ingalls for me is like a sensitive, loving father, but protection energy, Robert De Niro, all the way. My son, we read those books together twice, the whole series. We named our cat. We used to have a cat, Black Susan. Like, we love Little House on the Prairie. And I live in a small town in northern New York that's only about 40 minutes away from Malone, which is where, oh my God, El Manzo is from. And they have the house where he grew up, they restored it, and the barn, his whole farm, you can go and visit it and tour it. And I took my son there a couple years ago. And then when I drove out to the West Coast back in 2017, 16, 15, 2014, somewhere in there, when I drove out, I stopped at the Rose Cottage in Missouri, where Al Manzo built the house that's there, and then Rose Ingalls basically had a Sears house built for them, Rose Cottage, where Laura wrote all the books. It's really cool. I've cried so hard in there. Yes, me too. I was, my parents worked in a restaurant that we owned. My grandparents owned a restaurant here in the town I'm in right now, because I'm staying at my parents' house for a little while. And I grew up with so many babysitters and definitely watched a lot of Little House on the Prairie. It was so good. I own it. It's one of the only shows I own on Apple. Like I bought all the seasons of it. I don't watch it a lot, but it's like, if I ever need to, it's there. For as long as the cloud is there, it's there. All right, everybody, I am super tired. It's 1:38 a.m. for me, and I have been up since 7, so I'm going to head to bed. It was really fun to read for everybody today, and thank you again to the people who newly subscribed tonight. Remember that when I see you again live, as long as you have the prayer badge by your name, I will read 2 cards for you, just like I did tonight. And if I'm doing a special card for the room, you will also get that card as well. Sometimes I do 1 card that's special and 1 card answer to your question. It varies, but I always try to give you something special. So thank you very, very much, and I will see you again tomorrow. Please, if you are wanting to book a reading in the next couple of days, I would be so appreciative. I have to raise $400 in 2 days because I really don't want to pay a late payment on my car. I've been so good about it, and I'm trying to refinance it because my payment is so fucking huge. Like, obviously, I need $400 more to pay it. So it's because I had a terrible, terrible credit when I got my car, and I got a Jeep. It's a long story. I should not have gotten the car, that specific car, but I got there and they ran my credit without me clarifying which vehicle I wanted them to run it for, and I got approved, and then they were like, if we run it again, you might not get approved, which is probably bullshit, but whatever, I was there and it happened. So now I have a super expensive car and I need to refinance it, and I have to pay all the payments on time. So if you need a reading, please book it in the next couple of days. Or if you want to send a donation or just becoming a member, it's really helpful. So thanks very, very much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.